Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we are going back to that horrible world known as JRC. But before we get going, a few of the usual disclaimers. We're going to keep it short and sweet today, alright? Well, first off, it is like major ice outside. Like, not even the grocery delivery people were out to help my antisocial ass. So I had to go out there. My old non slip shoes that I had from Taco Bell days, so that was nifty to have. And say hi to the co host. You say hi to the people, Mr. Meows. Kitty go meow? Kitty go meow? Go meow for the peoples? You go meow? We say hi's. We say hi's. Good boy. Photobomb mommy. Yes. Photobomb mommy. Yes. Yes. Cute kitty. Alright, we are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, and yes, I did survive the sleet streets, folks. Those non-slip shoes are fantastic. Alright, now, first off, you are going to find a link to this report right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, you know the drill, sign your name, click on your senator, and the ever-present and self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Okay, it is 3:58. I'm actually not entirely brain dead, for once. But still, if I stumble over any of my words, my apologies in advance, alright? Okay, so where we left off last night. Yes, I know I let these out in the morning. I got a routine going, folks, alright? 11.1 Personal Policies, 28.09, 28.09, 11A, and 1805. 11. The private special education program shall develop written personnel policies and procedures that describe criteria and procedures for hiring, written evaluations, suspension or dismissal of any staff person, and development of teacher and staff evaluation forms. Oh, for fuck's sake. Duh. Are we really gonna do this? Are we really gonna talk about this shit that is standard everywhere? Really? Procedures for handling staff complaints. Yeah, God forbid you don't listen to staff. Provisions for vacations, holidays, leaves, sick days, and other benefits offered by the program. A plan for using volunteer and or intern services. Equal employment, educational opportunities, affirmative action in regard to race, color, creed, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, and handicap. I'm gonna call bullshit. They're more likely to try to stick the person with a disability in the school. Just saying. And consistent with state law effective February the 25th, 2003, for assessing, considering, and acting upon criminal offender record information for current and prospective employees, volunteers, school transportation providers, and others who have made direct, unmonitored contact with students. Why do I feel like they look at oh, you got a rap sheet. Come on in. Sorry. Note, applicants or employees who reside outside of Massachusetts approved special education schools should obtain and review criminal record information from the state of residence of the applicant or employee on the same basis as it does for applicants and employees who reside in Massachusetts. Also known as shit that doesn't matter, that was nowhere brought up in the New York report. This report is supposed to be answering the concerns brought up in the 2006 report. This is going over shit that was never even mentioned. Seriously? 11.2 Administrative Responsibility. The private special education program shall designate one person who will have administrative responsibility over the operation of the schools. Schools with more than 40 professional licensed staff may have one or more assistant administrators provided the department approves such positions. Implemented, response required, no. Stuff that doesn't matter, folks. 11.3. Although, you remember in the New York report when they talk about people who are acting as director who were not qualified to do so? They also mentioned that in the 1982 report from California. You're going to tell me it's implemented, though. Sure, Jan. Sure. 11.3. Educational Administrator Qualifications. Oh, wait, you mean they make them be qualified? No, they don't. But we'll move on. The program shall designate an educational administrator to supervise provision of special education services in the school to ensure that the services specified in each student's IEP are delivered. Really? Then why are you removing services from said IEP? Especially in regards to speech development. Because they don't want them talking, folks. The educational administrator either shall have licensure as a special education administrator or all of the following. Okay, so what you're telling me is that only one person can have the special education degree, but all these others are called teachers don't? Make it make sense, Massachusetts. A current license as a special educator. Remember, New York found that that was not accurate at all. A minimum of master's degree in special education or related field, and a minimum of 1 year in administrative experience. The educational administrator shall be relicensed pursuant to the requirements of 603 CMR 4400. The educational administrator shall obtain supervisory approval of his or her professional development plan per 603 CMR 4404. So you just fucking lied. You just lied. Do you all remember in the New York 2006 report when they found that that person's license had expired a decade ago? And now Massachusetts gonna say, no, it's not true. Really? Really? So now you're just gonna out and out lie to us. Interesting. 11.4. But you notice their tactics, right? They try to bury this shit. They try to bury basically calling the New York Department of Education liars. And they try to bury it with all this superfluous shit that is meaningless. And then they just kind of stick it in there a little tad bit. Right? The private special education program must ensure that all teaching staff have teaching license, certification appropriate to meet the needs of the population being served. Oh, you're going to tell me it's implemented? Bullshit. Bullshit. When you have mental health people in there with 3 weeks of training, and you set them up as these kids' teachers, and you're going to tell me this is implemented? All right, let's read this garbage. By the way, it hasn't been just New York. Who has said it? And being served pursuant to requirements of 603 CMR 7 and additionally must adhere to the following requirements. All teaching staff shall be relicensed pursuant to the requirements of the 603 CMR 4400 and shall be subject to the requirements as teachers in the Massachusetts public schools and shall be required to obtain supervisor approval of professional development plans pursuant to 603 CMR 4404. Then tell me, Massachusetts, why is it that New York could not find one fucking licensed teacher out of the lot? Not fucking one. Really? At least half the teaching staff shall be licensed in special education areas appropriate to the population served at the school. Other teaching staff shall be licensed in other educational areas in order to provide for content expertise in the general curriculum. The Department of Education may require a higher proportion of licensed educators if the opinion of the department the population requires more specialized services. Also, we're going to victim blame now. So this is their excuse for not making sure all the fuckers there are qualified for their goddamn jobs. It's that whole they're too stupid to learn thing. Why am I not surprised? To the extent that teaching staff is providing special education services, such services shall be provided, designed, or supervised by a special educator. This is how they get away with it, folks. They set one special educator, somebody who's actually has a teaching's degree and also has a degree in special education, and has them oversee a bunch of morons who don't know their head from their ass. That's how they get away with having people who are completely unfucking qualified to teach anyone anything. People who have just spent just an entire summer just out of high school are suddenly teachers because they get away with this shit right here. They have one special educator with a degree and have all these underlings report to them. So that's somehow supposed to make it kosher and okay. That's a real fucking slippery law you got going on there, Massachusetts. And it's not really being applied in anywhere else in the fucking union. Wow. All licensed teaching staff holding professional licensure shall be required to obtain supervisor approval of the professional development plans pursuant to 603 CMR 4404. Implemented. And we'll stop on this one here. All staff supervising the provision of related services shall be appropriately certified, licensed, or registered by their respective state boards, professional association, and Department of Education when appropriate. Oh, and when is it appropriate, JRC? When you deem that we're smart enough to be taught? Yeah, this is a real interesting one, folks, because they bury us with a bunch of superfluous nonsense, and then they decide to attack the New York report. What about attacking it? Basically calling the people that came from New York and observed liars. And I'm not buying it, folks. They're not addressing many of the concerns in the New York report. And not only that, but the New York report also backs the witness statements and video footage and the medical documents of the victims of that hellhole. It backs up the DPPC abuse reports. I'm sorry, but the New York report has a lot more backup for it. The only backup has is the Department of Education for Massachusetts say so. Well, New York backed theirs with evidence. Where's yours, Massachusetts? I'm going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. Do appreciate your time this evening, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye.